I'm Quinn Lemley with Secrets of the Stage. This is the place where we pull back the curtain and we dive into the creative process. And today, I am so excited because we are diving into the creative process of AI and being an author. And we have Howard Bloom.
Yes.
Welcome. I can't believe you're here.
Well, I can't believe how gorgeous you are, so there.
Thank you so much. You have a new book out.
Yes, my 8th book. It's called The Case of the Sexual Cosmos. Everything you know about nature is wrong. And it is deliberately outrageous.
Oh, I love it.
It challenges so many scientific assumptions that it's ridiculous, but it does it in language that's clear and exciting, and people can't put it down.
Well, people have compared you to Newton and Einstein and all these incredible scientists.
That was the quote from Channel 4 TV in Britain, the Einstein, Newton, Darwin, and Freud of the 21st century.
I love it. How did you get involved in
Well, I started in science at the age of 10. I was a very lonely kid. My parents didn't want to have anything to do with me. The other kids didn't want to have anything to do with me, and I didn't have a place in life at all.
So you found your way through science.
Well, a book appeared in my lap one day, and it said the first 2 laws of science are these: the truth at any price, including the price of your life. And it gave the example of Galileo, and look at things right under your nose as if you've never seen them before. And it gave the example of Anton von Leeuwenhoek, who invented the microscope and realized when he looked at pond water, we're sharing this planet. We've been sharing this planet from the beginning with vast scads of life forms we never knew existed until we got the microscope. So those 2 principles were galvanizing for me. And I was joining a tribe of guys who had been dead for 350 years, Galileo and
What a wonderful tribe you
yes,
joined.
Yes, but there was a secret. There was a reason they couldn't reject me the way that everybody around me was rejecting me. They were dead.
No, but great minds think alike.
Right.
Now, in your book, you're really reaching out. We are of the cosmos.
Right.
So tell about that. Are you into?
This cosmos is not what we think. This cosmos is not a lovely place, a Garden of Eden that would turn into a giant petting zoo if only we got rid of all of the vestiges of mankind. The cancer on the planet. That's not what nature is about at all.
What would you say nature is?
Nature is about constantly rebelling against herself.
Interesting.
Constantly creating creatures who will be obstreperous and do outrageous things, because every time her creatures, whether they're stars or lizards or you and me, do outrageous things, we expand the capacity of the cosmos. This cosmos has been fighting its way to bust open the envelope of possibility ever since there was a nothing. A Big Bang was an incredible screw you to the existing status quo. The precipitation of the first particles was a big screw you to the existing status quo.
Wow.
And so the cosmos has been going, screw the way things are, lunge towards something that's radically different, radically new. And it's been doing that for 13.73 billion years, and you and I are manifestations of that.
Well, that's true. That's true. But do you ever see any commonality within humanity, or?
Oh, we're part of the cosmos process of busting open the envelope of possibility, the next big step. And look at all of the things that we've pulled off. I mean, nature pulls off material miracles and supersized surprises all the time.
That's true.
And now we're helping her do it at a much, much faster rate. And plus,
is that a good thing or a bad thing?
It's an excellent thing. It's an outstanding thing.
Even with climate change and all of that?
Yes, because climate change is endemic to this planet. This planet is the home of climate catastrophe. When this planet first got itself together, and it did, first of all, that was a big screw you against the existing status quo, when a planet pulled itself together from a bunch of rocks and dust clouds. And it was the home of climate catastrophe. It was astonishing. It swiveled around its axis every 6 hours, which meant that if you'd been on the surface of this new Earth, you would have been in this poisonous stuff for 3 hours. And
like
then the
Mars,
temperature,
kind of.
that's light. That's ultraviolet radiation, radiation of all kinds. And that's poisonous to life. And then you would have swiveled into another equal poison, darkness, and been there for 3 hours, and the temperature would have gone up 88 degrees every 3 hours, going up and down every 3 hours. So, plus the planet had a tilt to its axis around the sun. So it went through 4 major climate changes a year. And we take these for granted. We call them summer, winter, fall, and spring. Yeah,
right?
Exactly. Those are big climate changes. And then it goes through a wobble
What's
it goes around the sun. That's called the Milankovitch effect. So every 44,000, 100,000, and 160,000 years roughly, we have these huge climate upheavals. So we're busy paying attention to the carbon dioxide that we produced. There have been times when there have been 200 times to 1,000 times more carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. There have been global warmings so severe that there were dinosaurs living at the South Pole and among tropical plants because the whole planet, there was no ice at the South Pole and the North Pole. Of course, we've been through ice ages. We've been through at least 2 ice ball Earths where the ice on the surface of the planet, even at the equator, was over half a mile thick. And life lived through that because life is obstreperous. Life is always doing outrageous and impossible things. To take a planet, a climate catastrophe, a poison pill of stone, and pull yourself together as a life form to begin with, that was an outrageous,
courageous.
Yeah, right. Yes. Act against the status quo. And the planet's never been a Garden of Eden. I mean, nature invented death and pain, for God's sakes. The number of creatures who've died on the face of this planet so far is beyond our counting system.
But we also have beauty and pleasure.
Oh, we have beauty and pleasure.
We have that.
Right.
A millionfold.
Right, and by making things that are beautiful, in addition to just accepting the things that already are, we are expanding the envelope of possibility of the cosmos itself. We're adding to her toolkit.
For me, one of the most powerful lessons was going on safari in South Africa.
Oh, that must have been amazing.
I mean, just seeing nature and how she works.
Right.
It was fascinating.
And to see the standard shot you've seen ever since you were a child of a lion taking down a gazelle. Does that sound like justice, peace, and a warm and fuzzy planet?
No, but when you're on safari, it's survival of the fittest, and they each have a place. There's a reason for each of the animals, which was interesting. So your book, what is your, tell about the story.
Well, I tell you the story of the cosmos from the beginning, but most important, I tell you about the rebels on the surface of this planet, the really big screw-yous to the existing status quo. Like once upon a time, plants had invented lignin and cellulose, these brand new materials that were in themselves a big screw-you to the existing status quo. And they invented these things called leaves. So land plants were competing with each other to see who could get the most sun. And along came the rebel beyond all rebels. This was a rebel that defied nature's most basic law. I mean, nature says, screw my laws. Show how you can get beyond them. So this one defied gravity.
This plant.
Yeah, and it went for height. So it could get above the other plants and capture the sun before it could reach the ground. And it was just an outrageous screw-you to the existing status quo.
Did that plant consciously decide to do that?
No, the plants don't have consciousness, but they struggled their way into doing it anyway. And they grew 70 feet tall, 170 feet tall, and they carried 11,000 gallons of water up to their top every single day.
Oh my God.
Through these really obstreperous, really outrageous plumbing systems, and they developed 200,000 leaves each.
Wow.
And there are 4 big...
Is this then like a rainforest?
Well, we call it a tree.
Oh, a tree.
and at the time, it was the most violently unnatural thing you could possibly imagine.
I love trees.
I mean, but imagine bucking gravity, nature's most basic law, to that extent.
Right.
And the lesson of the tree is nature says, screw me. Nature says, by all means, go against my existing rules and do something outrageous.
So is that, in your book, is that what you're telling the reader to do?
Yes, because remember, we don't know whether in the next 100 years we're going to have the next great ice age or the next great global warming. Remember that global warming that had dinosaurs living at the South Pole and no ice at all? That came before there were smokestacks, tailpipes, and industrialism and human beings.
Will we? I mean, are we seeing it coming, or are we? Is
No,
it
we're
just
too
going to
busy
happen?
focusing on us as the sinners who must correct our sins in order to get back to the petting zoo. But it was never a petting zoo. It's never going to be a petting zoo. And look, these tiny little things, once upon a time, tiny little animals decided to do something really bizarre to, again, give a big screw you to gravity and to take to the skies. What an outrageous idea. You're a little plant, you've got 6 legs, or a little animal, you've got 6 legs, and you've always crawled on the ground. And if you and I were the parents of one of these first who decided to do this outrageous thing, we would have said, look, down here, there is shelter, there's greenery, there's food, there's everything you need. The earth is your mother. How dare you think about leaving the surface of the earth? Look up above your head. What do you see? Is there anything to eat up there? Clouds? You're going to eat clouds? At night there are stars. You can't eat stars.
Right.
And there's no place to find a nest. There's no place to build a protective structure to see you through the night. So this is going to be a huge failure. And actually a bunch of not only did these little things do this, we call them insects,
Right.
and they took to the skies. Dinosaurs did that. And imagine being their parents and saying, look, stick to this green planet that has
Right.
always nourished you. Well, how many of the dinosaurs, the old-fashioned dinosaurs who wanted to cling to the surface of the earth, did you see when you got up this morning?
None.
That's right.
Right.
And how many of the loony dinosaurs who flew did you see
None.
this morning? No.
None. Well, no,
You
maybe
saw-
birds. I
Yes,
mean, I
that's
saw
it.
birds.
Those are the birds.
Right.
And they've made it through even, the Chicxulub meteor 65 million years ago that killed off the dinosaurs. Didn't stop birds.
Wow. And so are all 8 of your books, are they about the cosmos and about science?
In one way or another, the first book, The Lucifer Principle, is about the causes of human evil. The second book, Global Brain, is about how all the living things on Earth have been meshing together on a global scale since the beginning, 4 billion years ago, when life first began.
Right.
And the third book, The Genius of the Beast, a radical revision of capitalism, is about economics. And how we do these we pull off these material miracles all the time. I mean, it's been very popular for the last 150 years to be very down on J.D. Rockefeller. Well, what did J.D. Rockefeller do? He took this new invention called kerosene and this new technique called drilling into the ground in order to get this
Steel.
Yeah, this awful stuff, to get oil.
Right.
And he, until then, it had cost $200 a gallon for really high quality lighting oil. So only the super rich could afford it. And J.D. Rockefeller took this kerosene making technique and made an oil that was as good, or a lighting fuel, that was as good as whale oil, which was the previous $200 a gallon thing.
Right.
And he standardized the process of making it.
Standard oil?
Yes, because in the early days, there were a whole bunch of wildcatters, and they were all distilling their own oil. And so when you bought a can of oil, and it often came with a gas lamp, and you adjusted the flame, everything worked perfectly for that 5-gallon can. And then you bought another 5-gallon can, and it was from another provider, and there were no standards.
Right, so I'm sure there were a lot of explosions.
It blew up in
right?
your face. It could be deadly.
Right.
Yes. I believe I had a great aunt or something like that who died that way.
Oh, no.
So Rockefeller standardized the oil and brought it down in price from $200 a gallon to 6 cents
Wow.
a gallon, and made it available all over the world. So J.D. Rockefeller gave us light. So there are all these people who we denigrate for making a lot of money. They made a lot. There's only one way to make money, and it is to satisfy a human need. It's to save, lift, upgrade, and empower your fellow human beings. And this book says that the basic mandate of capitalism is be messianic. Save, lift, upgrade, and empower your neighbors. If you do that for 10
That's
neighbors,
a good thing.
yeah, you get
That's a good
$10. Do it for 100, you get $100.
Right.
Do it for 100 million, and you get $100 million like J.D. Rockefeller.
Right.
And the same thing applies to these guys who are pulling off material miracles today. Jeff Bezos, I was in bed for 15 years and couldn't go to bookstores anymore. And in 1995, Jeff Bezos started an online bookstore. So I went to it immediately. And then he started selling other things. And then he started focusing on how fast he could deliver these things.
Right.
And then...
Now with drones.
Yeah. So in 2019, we began a COVID crisis. And we were all locked up in our homes, and we didn't dare go to stores because we were going to catch COVID from other people. But we could order stuff on Amazon, and it would be there in 2 days.
It was amazing.
Yeah, it saved our lives, and these... the wretched of mankind, who are actually the people who complain about this stuff, they complain about Bezos, they love resenting him, don't realize how he has changed their very lives.
Right. Will Amazon.
Right, yeah. And the same thing for a person who's done some horrible things politically, and that's a guy I've spoken to a couple of times, Elon Musk. And Elon Musk has given us the ability, we used to launch maybe one rocket every 3 months to the heavens, and we needed to put communication satellites up there so that we could talk to friends in Tokyo if we felt like it,
Right.
or in Utah, anytime we want, walking up the street. And
It's amazing, isn't it?
yeah, so Elon has 3 launches a week
Wow.
now, and he's aiming for far more than that. And that means that the satellites that deliver services to you and me, he's putting them up. Many, many, many of them. And then there's Starlink, which means that people in rural areas who didn't have access to Wi-Fi can get Wi-Fi, and it's high speed, very good Wi-Fi. It's the best in the world. Right now he's got 7,000 satellites in his constellation. He's on his way to 8,000.
Isn't it going to get messy up there?
Yes, it's messy up there already, and there's space junk. But guess, you know, in my community when I was growing up, there was at least one father in the neighborhood who was sending his kid to private school, and he was doing it because he'd started a junkyard. Junk is very useful. It's cost us $10,000 a pound to get this junk into space. So why don't we just gather it?
Yeah, I have a junkyard.
Yeah, and smelt it. You know, melt it. There's lots of solar power to do that, and then use it for 3D printing. And instead of having to send thousands of tons to orbit, we use the thousands of tons that are already there. Every crisis is an opportunity in disguise.
True. That's true.
So
how do you just come up with your theories and your books, or do you have a process where you because you're focusing on very powerful topics,
right,
that are diverse.
Right. Well, I have a field. I wrote the manifesto for it in 2001 called Omnology. And it is a discipline for the promiscuously curious.
Promiscuously curious, right. I love it.
For the omnivorously curious.
Right.
And so,
I love it.
So if you have a curiosity, your dad's going to sit you down at some point when you're in college and say, okay, Quinn, you have to decide what you want to be in life.
Right.
You're interested in art history, you're interested in neuroscience, and you're interested in film. Which do you want to be? An art historian, a neuroscientist, or a filmmaker? And until you make up your mind about that, you're nobody.
You can't be all 3?
Well, that's the point. Omnology says you've got to say to Dad the same thing that nature gets us to say to her all the time. And you say, I've got these 3 curiosities. Those are the things that drive my passions. I'm going to stick with them for as long as they continue to be interesting to me. I'm going to be top-notch in each of them. I'm going to be rigorous in each of them.
Right.
And then when my friends at the age of 40 are all coming down with midlife crises, and the men are buying little red Corvettes and picking up blondes and cheating on their wives, and the women are planning elaborate divorces so they can finally find out who they really are, you'll just be coming back from the wilderness of your multiple curiosities with your first really big picture answers. And while your friends feel they're at the end of their lives, you will know you are at the beginning of yours. So that's Omnology. And I started doing that.
I like that.
So when I was 10, and when this book came and saved my life, I dove into two radically different topics, theoretical physics and microbiology, and I dived into them seriously enough that I co-designed my first computer when I was 12.
Wow.
And it won a bunch of science awards. My mom dragged me off to the University of Buffalo, my hometown university, to meet with the head of the graduate physics department, and we had an hour-long conversation about the hottest topic of the day. Which is the Big Bang versus steady-state theory of the universe, and he and I both believed in the Big Bang.
Yes.
And a guy named Fred Hoyle, who was behind steady-state theory, knew he was going to destroy Big Bang within the year, and we would never hear of Big Bang again.
Why?
Because he had what he felt was a much better theory, steady-state theory. Well, so we discussed the interpretation of the Doppler shift, and meantime, I was ferociously into poetry, and I was ferociously into the visual arts, and I've pursued all of them.
And also, Jimmy Starr told me that you were a publicist.
Yes,
I mean, talk about diversity.
Right.
I mean,
well, I was curious about mass human emotion and mass human behavior. I was more than curious. I was ferociously, hungrily, voraciously
But you worked
curious.
with like Michael Jackson, Queen.
Yes, I started a PR firm in a field I had known nothing about until 2 years or 3 years earlier.
How did you get into that? And how did you find these bands and connect with them? And
well, when I was 12 years old, I was reading an autobiography by Albert Einstein. And in the introduction to his autobiography, Albert Einstein said that to be a genius, it's not enough to come up with a theory that only 7 men in the world can understand. To be a genius, you have to be able to come up with that theory and then express it so clearly that anyone with a high school education and a reasonable degree of intelligence can understand it. And meanwhile, George Gamow, the guy behind the Big Bang Theory, he had a book called 1, 2, 3, Infinity. It was absolutely fascinating. He made mathematics and science absolutely fascinating. So I had a mandate. Bloom, if you're going to be an original scientific thinker, which is the only thing in life I've ever been fit to do, you have to be a writer, and not just any writer. You have to make things delicious.
right. Well, everything should be delicious.
Yes, exactly.
Or else why do it?
Right. So that's, and meantime, at 16, I started becoming obsessed with current events, global events, not just local events. And I started writing essays every night, commenting on current events, which is something that I still do on 545 radio stations on Wednesday night, once a week for Coast to Coast AM. And so I have been omnivorously curious my whole life, and my books come out of that omnivorous curiosity. But then when you sit down to write a book, a strange thing happens. You think you know where you are going.
Right.
And the book turns out to be a voyage of surprises, of astonishing surprises.
Right. That's like in any creative journey.
Yeah. So it's an amazing process to write a book. And why do I write books? Because I was saved by books the way Mowgli in the Jungle Book was saved by wolves.
Right.
I was raised by books.
Well, they're so important.
Yeah. And meantime, these two guys reached out across 350 years to save my life. That's Anton von Leeuwenhoek and Galileo. So what do I owe? I owe my books, and I owe reaching out with those books to the next kid 350 years from now who's as confused and lost as I was.
How you're incorporating AI in your books?
It was wonderful. It saved me huge amounts of time. I could do, in 2 hours, I could do a week's worth of work.
Wow. That's amazing.
It was amazing.
Do you think that writing is going to be more AI and less the human, or do you think it's still going to be a blend?
It's like asking, do you think AI is going to be, or do you think writing is going to be human, or is it going to be ink? Well, the ink doesn't replace you as a human. The ink augments you. It gives you new powers. And the AI is simply augmenting us and giving us...
I want to be augmented, Howard. I need to be augmented. You have a performance, a very unusual performance coming at Chelsea Table and Stage in
August 15th. Right.
So tell me about that. You're using...
There's a computer genius who's become part of the Howard Bloom Institute. The purpose of the Howard Bloom Institute is to make sure that I reach those kids 350 years from now, that when I die, I don't really die.
Right.
And we have this computer genius who is
What's his name?
His name is Ryan Dean. He's absolutely amazing.
Okay.
And I think he's going to be the next Tony Stark or the next Elon Musk.
Wow.
So Omnology saved his life. And so he's been creating what he calls Omnibots, and based on the idea of Omnology. And one of those Omnibots is the Bloom bot. And
that's you?
That's me. And he's been working on perfecting it for months, and every iteration it gets more powerful.
How exciting.
So I'm going to go on stage at the Chelsea
Table and
Stage, right? And I am going to be having a conversation about my new book with the Bloom bot. And the Bloom bot and I frequently, it's supposed to be a doppelganger or twin of me,
but
right?
Do you argue, or do you
Yes, we disagree.
Discuss?
We discuss and we disagree. And I keep correcting it in order to make it more accurate, because it's one of my girlfriends, once upon a time, not that long ago, said, we've got to get you uploaded somehow so I can still talk to you after you die.
I love it.
So that's exactly what Ryan is doing.
Oh, this is marvelous.
Yeah, he's creating the me that's going to survive beyond the grave.
Can they go do howardbloom.com?
Very soon.
Or
in
where
fact,
is your institute?
it might be there right now. howardbloom.institute.
Okay.
And there's a page up there that we haven't announced yet, and it's called Pick Howard's Brain.
Oh, how marvelous.
And that puts you in touch with the chat bot, which keeps getting better and better, the Bloom bot.
Well,
my AI twin.
Well, obviously, you keep getting better and better. Howard, we only have 1 minute left. What in one sentence, tell me what your purpose is.
My purpose in life is to give you new perceptual lenses with which to see everything inside of you and everything outside of you from radically new points of view.
Well, you have definitely done that today. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
I am
Quinn.
just so excited about your new book.
And
thank you.
And you are so pretty that talking to you is an absolute delight, and you have a brain in there that works and works well. So it's a pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm Quinn Lemley with Secrets of the Stage. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please join us every Sunday night at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time on mnn.org, Channel 4, or you can visit us on Spotify, Apple TV, or at Black Tie Magazine. And if you'd like to come to one of my concerts, please subscribe to QuinnLemley.com. I'd love to see you in person as well as on the screen. Until next time, I'm Quinn Lemley with Secrets of the Stage.